to my Impact review of, well, of this week's Impact. It was good. It was surprising. I understood about the changes they were making to TNA, what Billy Corgan has been doing. I didn't know if it was going to get completely over, but after seeing what I'm seeing, I believe if they continue it and don't act stupid and drop off after a couple of months because the writers were not interested or they decided to change direction really quickly, you could actually get something really good and actually outperform WWE. So I'm going to do the ending of the show first, and that's the final deletion of Decay. The opening of the show when they talked about Mr. Benjamin, the groundskeeper, and Vanguard 1, I gotta say, it's funny seeing those guys. I enjoy them. By the time you see the ending of the show, when you got Mr. Benjamin, if I'm getting his name wrong, I'm sorry, I'm bad with names. Vanguard 1, you got Rebby involved in it with... I don't know what it is about fireworks. It's just, it's non-lethal as long as you don't aim right in their faces. And it just gives a very spectacular look. It does. Was this an incredibly effective segment? It was really good. Admittedly, for me personally, I would like it in the middle of TNA Impact. It did not need to be the ending. Honestly, didn't. This was not the be-all, end-all of the ending of the show for me personally. It was good. Seeing a lot of the scenes in that final deletion was actually very good. And it leads into something new. Because Mr. Benjamin's been taken. You don't know what's going to happen with Jeff. Of course, the Matt Hardy family is perfectly fine with Rebby, and Maxwell. He doesn't know what's going on. He's just a little kid. But the way they had him walk up to grab his dad actually makes sense in this segment. And I know a lot of people are going to say you're exploiting Maxwell Hardy. I mean, the little kid doesn't understand what's going on. He's being exploited. And that happens in movies and television. Look, Days of Our Lives had little kids in it. The Guiding Light and all those... I'm not going to say that soap operas are stupid. A lot of people still love them. They look at the old episodes from the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. They're not stupid. I don't like them. Personally, it gets on my nerves. But still, they have their place in entertainment. And this is like a soap opera. Better done than the WWE. And I'm saying this 100%. I know a lot of people are going to say, no, dude, you're wrong. Actually, yes. The WWE does not do soap operas at all properly. They do it so garbagey. But in this case, it's been done well. For me personally, I did not need it in the end of the show. It could have been in the middle. I believe it should have been in the middle. And I'm going to stand by this. Was the segment really effective for next week? Yes. We don't know what's going to happen with Jeff, like I said. We don't know what happened with Mr. Benjamin. I believe his name is Benjamin. I don't know, but in the end, we don't know what's going to happen with Decay. We don't know what's going to happen with that. And that little scene before they actually reach the house, that guy driving along and, ooh, seeing Rosemary stick that juicy tongue out. I love her boobs. Even if she's a small-chested woman, she looks beautiful. But the tongue really set a lot of people off, and I'm sure it set me off. Anyway, let's move on to the knockouts. And this was just... didn't seem to work very well. At least until the end, where it made sense. You don't hear Gail Kim's entrance, which I'm fine with. You only get... you get a cutscene over to Jade, and honestly, you don't know if it's Gail Kim. But we all knew that Jade and Gail Kim are kind of still stuck to the hip. Then you got Sienna working with Allie. Not too happy. Allie is still being hated by Sienna because she lost the title. And in the end, Sienna beats the crap out of Allie by just knocking her to the ground. Going right through her. The thing that is the most important of this entire knockout situation is that Allie is very over. Because of what happened afterward, where Gail Kim and Jade help her up, they don't hurt her, and the crowd is cheering for Allie. Now, of course, you know what's going to happen next week when they're going to have that little tournament to see, well, that little match. I think it's going to be a battle royal to see who's going to be the one that's going to go after the Maria at Bound for Glory. We know it's going to be Gail, but then you wonder, could they let Allie do this? It would be nice to see Allie versus Maria. That's what I really want to see. But I know they're not going to go there. They're not going to go with Jade, who should be pushed the most. They're not going to go with Allie, and they're not going to go with Sienna. They're going to go with Gail Kim because they want her to hold the title while she becomes the first female. Look, she has the right to be in the Hall of Fame. But having the title going into the Hall of Fame, I just find to be detestable. It just is not right. But this is just my point of view. What's next? The meltdown of Mike Bennett. Let's get this over with right now. I still love the gimmick of Mike Bennett and Maria. More Mike Bennett than Maria. I really don't like Maria. But that's the point. I'm not supposed to like her. I hate Maria. So she's doing her job well. She's doing her job well. But here's the thing. She's now Knockouts champion and she was in control of the Knockouts division. Now she's had that strip because of Dixie. And Mike Bennett has to go up against Moose. My problem is this. It's good that she's been stripped of the control as long as she is holding the title. But when it comes to Mike Bennett and Moose, this is too rushed. I agree with Fool Killer 99. They had no idea what to do with Moose. They thought, well, heal him out first. But then they saw the people want to cheer him. So instead of sticking with him for at least 5 to 6 months and then give a reason to turn him, they're doing it now. And I feel this is just rushed and it's going to hurt Moose. Mike is Mike. Mike is going to be as he is. He's not going to change for a while. He's not going to turn face. He's going to stay a baby face. Well, a crybaby heel, not a baby face heel. A crybaby heel that we're going to get tired of. And that is the problem we're going to have with him. For Moose, he's hurt for the simple reason he should have stayed heel even if the people were cheering with him. And cheering for him. And cheering to him. He should have stayed heel for about 4 or 5 months. This is too soon. This will not really help Moose. It won't. He'll become very generic. And the way he is, we don't want him generic. But this is what we're stuck with. Now let's see. What else we got here? There wasn't that much content in general, but it was a large chunk of each content. Let's see here. The press conference between EC3 and Lashley. I felt, and I'm saying this honestly, I feel that that conference is 10 times better than what the WWE does. Compared to the WWE going into a ring and signing a contract, they're actually setting it up like a UFC or a boxing match. And I feel like this is something we don't do often enough. This is something that I believe TNA should do from now on when it comes to Lashley. Or anyone else that has that title. They need to keep this because you can switch it up once in a while to do it in the ring. But I want to see this stay the way it is. Let them do it with an empty Impact Zone. Let them do it with cameras there. Let them do it with the press there. Let them do that, and then it didn't have to break into a brawl. The brawl wasn't bad. It was a good brawl. But in honesty, they don't always have to break into a real full brawl. This is something that doesn't need to be done. But it was very effective. I find this way more interesting than what WWE does with their contract signing. I wish the WWE would have the brain power to actually understand, hey, we've been doing it in the ring for years. Why don't we do it outside the ring and in an actual place like NXT does? Not all the time NXT does it. They do it in the back sometimes, but they also do it in the ring. Why don't they listen to NXT? They just don't. Now, the thing I liked the most of the show was when they showed the new title. The Impact Grand Championship title. You know what this made me feel like, ladies and gentlemen? The New Japan Pro Wrestling YWGP Junior title, if I'm pronouncing the name right. I don't remember the exact name of what their title is, but it gives me that type of feel of a tournament. Drew was there with Baron, well, not Baron, Billy Corgan. Billy revealed the new title, and let's be honest, this is a simple title. It's not a beautiful title, but it looks better than what we get in the WWE. This segment was good. Cutting away from Drew and Billy to talk about what the tournament is going to be was kind of forced. I think it could have been done in the very opening of the show, but I have to admit, Mr. Benjamin and the Vanguard 1 is still something I actually do enjoy at the very opening of the show. But they could have done it there, explained it, and then when they had the segment, they could do it again. But it was still effective. You get 3 rounds, 3 minutes for each. You get rated. If you get pinfall or submission, you win. If you don't, you got to go through 3 judges who rate you by aggression, technical wrestling, and I guess, I can't remember what the third one is. I know a lot of hardcore fans are not going to enjoy this. I think the Slag Daddy will not appreciate this. And I can understand his point of view. We are catering a lot to the hardcore fan. But I gotta admit this. In this respect, after seeing the match between Drew and who was the one he went up against? Braxton Sutter. And particularly Jesse Goddard versus Eli Drake, which I felt was the better of the 2 matches. Obviously. Eli Drake and Jesse Goddard, he got a promo segment before the match. And it made sense for him to have it because he is an amateur. He had amateur background. I love the second match. I love Eli and Jesse Goddard. That match made that show. And it made me feel this. If TNA understands what they got their hands on right now, they have something that has, to a certain extent, a New Japan Pro Wrestling feel. A amateur wrestling pro feel. A UHC type of feel. It's not 100% of each one. Maybe about 20 or 30% of each one. But then, you still have it in a pro wrestling type of feel. That's meant for impact. I really feel they have something very genuinely good here. If they understand what they got. If they do. Then we have something we will enjoy for years to come. Because it's like a taste of the X Division when it was new. It's not like the King of the Mountain title anymore. You don't have to climb no damn ladder to do it. It is still like a tournament. And I feel that the person who is the current champ must go for a tournament once a month to keep the title. I know a lot of people are not going to agree with this, and I understand if they don't want this every month. But I feel like this. The champion can still basically have matches. He can still have feuds. But when it comes down to it, I would rather see his opponent go through the tournament and still have hatred for the guy and periodically makes it to the end, and then other times they don't make it, but then they still have the feud afterward, particularly if the champ loses. This is what I want to see. The champ goes through the tournament with everybody else. He meets his rival. Either the rival beats him or the rival doesn't beat him. But in the end, he either retains or not retains through a tournament every month. If this continues, if it works, you can have your feuds throughout the entire month, culminating at the end of the month when it comes to the tournament. Both combatants can be in there going up against other people before they meet one another, and then they can still have the attitude, they can still have the hatred, and in the end, when it's done, if both of them lose, or if someone else wins, you can have a new type of feud that at least isn't once a week. It can be multi-months, that one champion can win each month, and he still has a rival for the next couple of months. And the best thing is that a person who goes for the tournament doesn't have to have being penalized going to the back of the bus. He can just go at him. This is just how I feel about this tournament. if it sticks, because there's a good chance they won't do this after Bound for Glory. They will drop this and just treat it just like a regular championship. And I say this truly, if anyone from TNA is watching this, if Andre Corbiel is watching this, if anyone, I really mean this, anyone who knows someone in TNA, I say this clearly, do not drop this after the first month. Do it a couple of months and see how the crowd responds to it. Do not drop it. If you drop it too soon and the people are truly into it, you will lose a huge opportunity. As much as it feels like it's not going to really give us much, it could give us something very special. But this is just my point of view. You guys tell me below, and I hope you enjoyed the Zane view. Please give me a comment below. I'm going to be doing a UFC on CM Punk. I'm going to watch it and I'm going to review it. It's coming up tonight. Today is September 10th. I will be watching it. And hopefully I'll be able to do it just before Backlash Sunday. Have a good day and have a good night.